Hi guys, my name is Adewale, Adetona. They call me Slim Fit. Some call me I Slim Fit. On today's edition of Tech Chat with I Slim Fit, I have someone with me. You would usually find him at the intersection between payment and his delivery through technology. He has diverse experience between working between traditional banks and of course fintech. His experience spans across organizations like Zenith Bank, System Specs, that's Remita, Fair Money, Carbon, and of course Forest Capital. Right, Nifemi Oluboyede is his name, and for most of you that are already conversant with him, we call him Fintech Bro. So, for my audience, if you are a product management enthusiast, right, you want to be a product manager in the future, or you already have a career running as a product manager and you want to learn one or two things from one of the best in the industry, this video is for you. And of course, like I would usually say, when you are opportune to share information with people like this video, please share this video with people in your network that you know will benefit from it as product managers or aspiring product managers. And of course, not just that, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please help me grow as I'm helping you to grow. Right, so let's get straight to it. All right, so Nifemi and I used to work in different capacities at System Specs, owners of Remita. Back then, I was the digital marketing manager, and he was the product manager before we moved on to different things, right? So, Nifemi, welcome. Thank you for joining me on today's episode. I'm not taking this for granted. Thank you for sparing time out of a busy schedule for us to record this. So, let's start with this. Tell me a bit about your background.
Okay. First off, thank you very much for the privilege of the opportunity to be here to have a chat with you. And, you know, like you mentioned, we go way back, System Specs days, Louis Streets,
Obalende.
Yeah, and, you know, I would say that was also a huge part of, you know, me starting out. Normal, went to Obafemi Awolowo University, Ife. I studied economics. Shocker.
Thank God. You are the only OAU person I've had on this show or that I've had interaction with that has not used that opportunity to brag. OAU, about this, about that. I don't want you to do it. Continue.
It's focusing on the greatest. Now right. Yeah, so when OAU I studied economics, the initial plan was, you know, first degree economics, to my master's in economics, to a PhD in economics.
Why are you from Ijebu? Why are you from everything?
I remember my uncle telling me then that Soludo became a professor before he was 40. I'll be at age 40.
Okay.
And I was like, 40, piece of cake, like, I will do it. That was the initial dream there. But, you know, funny thing, as life would have it, was I was done with school, done with NYSC, applied for my master's. ASU happened, there was strike, we were waiting. And I waited for close to a year just because I was like, his master's I want to do, so I'm not working. At some point, I was just like, what's going on? And for some weird reason, I wanted to do my master's in Nifemis.
Okay.
I had a specific lecturer that I wanted to be my supervisor because I wanted to do international monetary economics. Like I was that clear.
Okay.
And then my brother-in-law just mentioned, you know, an opportunity in the bank. I was like, yeah, let's even try it out and see what's up. And the fun fact is, I think a week or two after I resumed,
at the bank?
The admission clicked.
For the MSc, for the masters?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I see this one, I'm not serious. I've seen one. The money that I saw the first day I entered the bank.
Money that is not yours. So.
I was counting money in my dream. Because it's part of the rite of passage. When you take it to the board, you see money. Masters value.
Funny enough, some people used to think, I don't know, back then, being a banker makes you instantly rich because you have access to money. Money that is not yours.
So moving on from that, did banking for 16 months actually. But I think a year into it, I already knew that
this is not for you.
Because I was engaging with people who are already in the system.
Yeah.
They're in the same position for like 2, 3, 4 years. No promotion, nothing. I was like, no, this is not the blueprint that Nigerian movie used to give us. is worst case 1 year, or in fact sometimes double promotion in 1 year.
You start driving like
That was the mindset I was working with. So it wasn't going to work. But one thing that I'm thankful for, like in the bank, was that was where I got exposed to fintech products, as the case may be. Then the banks, they used to be called third-party applications. So the likes of Pay Direct, like Switch, the likes of WeTransact, the likes of even Remita, right? And I was just fancied by how they were able to debit the bank's position even as a third-party application. I remember then my last appraisal in Zenith Bank, my A was because I was an outstanding e-transact processor. We used to go and process on campuses doing school fees collection, e-transacts, right? So that was how my interest in that space started to grow up. And there comes system specs, miraculous thing, because at the time I was working in Akure. So yeah, system specs happened. I started out as a product support executive, which meant we're supporting the products, talking to the people using the product every day. And I would say that was sort of where the whole product management thing started. Because then you're the guy who the customers are talking to, you're the guy who is taking the customers' complaints to the tech team or the engineering team to say, oh, this thing has to be fixed, this thing has to be solved. I didn't know it as product management then, but it was, we called it product support. And yeah, it was
movie support.
Exactly. So it was us supporting the product at the time. But from there, that tendency started, I think, so that tendency sort of started out, and I transitioned from the support person to an actual product manager at the time.
So let me ask this, Nifemi. Let's break it down for my viewers here. So some people have the opinion that to be a product manager, you need to know how to code, right? Is that a misconception or that is the reality? So in your own case, was there any point in time that you had to enroll into a coding school or maybe learn on your own how to code, right? Maybe after that would lead to the next question of your day-to-day job, like what is it into your day-to-day activity as a product manager? So let's start with the first question. Was there at any point where you needed to learn how to code?
So I first off, let me put it out there. I cannot write a line of code to save my life. Like,
not even HTML.
Like if you put a gun on my head now, say write one line, and you be alive. I'll just say my last prayer. Otherwise, I'll write the query that select not to die if dying is an option to you. So yeah, first off, if you're out there and you're listening, it's not a given. Yes, more often than not, it's a plus. But when you start to find that in a couple of organizations, they don't really need you as a PM to code, whereas in some organizations, that's the way it is. So I remember working in a company where I ended up not spending so long because it was a very tech-first company. And if I'm not mistaken, at the time, I was probably the first PM they had that was not that was not a technical PM or who was not before them a developer. And it sort of affected the way the work was supposed to be done, because I was coming from this is what the user wants, this is how the user wants to interact with the product standpoint, whereas a lot of the conversations were, this is how we're going to build it. So I think that free advice for whoever is coming into this field and not a tech person, and even if you're a tech person, right, if you're a software developer or you know how to code, I think first things first is drop that code at the door as you're entering, because you cannot. It's like wanting to be the jury and the executioner, right? You can't be the guy writing the specs and you are the guy building the specs. It's like the architect wanting to be the bricklayer
at the same time.
Exactly. Right. So sometimes you would need that technical knowledge to also be clear on what should be and what should not be. But I remember one of the CTOs I worked with at Carbon then, and he always used to hammer on this thing where he says, as a PM, when you're writing your specs for engineers, tell us what you want, not how you want it done. Right? And as a product manager, that's like my first advice is be able to properly capture what you want, build and leave the how
So
to the actual engineers, because
yes.
the temptation you have when you know how to code or when you're a
No,
coder that is now a PM, you write what you want, you now start to tell them how it should be
And
done.
that will constrain them.
It constrains them, it causes a lot more back and forth
Mhm.
because you people probably have different schools of thought. And guess what? If you were that good a dev, I'm not sure no shades. If you were that good a dev, you may not be a product person, right? Of course, there's the exception. There are some remarkable guys who have been there, done that in the development, this time they're like, oh yeah, let's come and do small products work.
Okay. So that will take me to the other question. So what skill then sets you apart as a product manager? Right. I mean, in this conversation, we've been able to rule out the fact that you don't need to know how to code. So what are those skills that is necessary or that will stand you out as a product manager?
Okay. So before I would deep dive into that, I think the first things first is understanding what type of PM you want to be, right? There are different types. Are you a technical PM? Because for different organizations, they have different requirements based on how the practice of product management or software development is done. So you get to some organizations, you see that okay, they have a role as technical PM, they have a role growth PM, they have a role loss PM, they have a role Scrum Master. Like in those type of organizations, the question is more often than not, your skill sets you can't apply for all four roles if you're going to that organization. Right? The description of what they put out there will tell you that okay, this is me. I'm the growth PM guy because I'm definitely not the technical PM guy. In fact, some companies are now having like data PMs.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. So once you are clear on the type of PM that you have, it helps you to know it even helps you to know the type of roles that you're applying for, the ones that you're finding yourself. And that has a huge role to play on your skill set.
The skill set that you mentioned. Okay.
So, for instance, when I was at Carbon, it was more partnerships based than getting your hands dirty every day type, right? So there was partnerships and there was high level just PM work because, for instance, we had the technical PM who was the middleman between PMs and engineering. So when you finish writing your BRD, get management buy-in, you just hand it over to him.
So what's BRD for my audience?
Oh, okay. So BRD is business requirement documents.
Okay.
Or in some places it's product. There's PRD, product requirement.
I beg you, they learn. You see, my product management enthusiast. I think one thing for me, which has also helped. Let me just check this in. You need to start learning, or you need to learn all the acronyms, all the buzzwords in your industry, especially if you're a newbie. You need to, so that even if you don't know what it is, let people know that, yeah, this guy knows what he's saying, right? He knows everything about this industry. Sorry to cut you short.
Yeah, so essentially, putting more context, the BRD would have been a document where you highlight different reasons why you're working on the product.
So what is it like in a regular in your day to day, or how is it like as a product manager? But apart from these things you listed, so say for instance you're waking up today, right? What are those activities you're likely to do from 9 to 5 as a product manager?
Okay, so first things first, as I'm starting, after I brush, right? Once you open laptop, I think the first thing that I open next, right, is my calendar.
Okay.
Right, because I try to use that a lot to make sense of my day, and I found that to be very helpful. So, like for instance, when I was at Nifemi, it was interesting because at some point I was managing engineering teams working in 2 countries. We were doing Nigeria and India at the same time, and India was like 4.5 hours ahead. So I needed my calendar to be safe. Before, if you tell me let's talk at a time,
You have to
I
check.
can't tell you yes.
You have to check
Because
first.
there were days when literally between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. maybe I have in total in different pockets, I may only have 2 hours that are not meetings. And it's that 2 hours that you are now expected to do the actual work. So first things first is check out my calendar, know what meetings I have, what meetings I don't have. There are days when I block out early part of the morning. So there's this thing we had then, we call it focus mornings. So focus mornings, block out 2-3 hours in your calendar. Nobody can fix a meeting at that time. Like even the CEO, if he wants to fix a meeting with you that time, he has to chat you privately and beg. Because the behavior was our calendars were shared. So if I need to have a meeting with you, I can go to your calendar. I can go by myself to your calendar and see what time you have free.
I mean, thank God for technology.
Exactly, and then because working from home, some people will tell you, "Oh, I'm not free," and chats of 15 minutes to take 2 hours, two weeks to fix meeting to have a 15-minute chat, right? So we had open calendars and stuff. So I would ensure that my focus mornings where I would do all that I needed to do on my work side, and then take meetings for most part of the day. So in that focus morning, I'm looking out for my emails. In that focus morning, if I have specs that I need to write, I'm doing that. If I have UX case studies or UX reviews with customers, I make those calls during those times. We had a UX team as well that sometimes we have to work together. So call customers, we do surveys that are supposed to feed back into some of the features that we're working on.
So let's talk about the relevance of communities, right, to product managers. What communities would you suggest for product managers or aspiring product managers to join?
So I would say that communities have played a huge role, at least for me as a person, and it's definitely something that I would recommend, especially for either you're transitioning or you're starting out fresh. Notable ones, of course, the very first one that I came in contact with was Product Tank Lagos. Before I even then became like a co-organizer of that thing as well. It was important that at the time we were PMs trying to figure out PM or PMing, right? God bless the likes of Khadija Apu of Paystack, or Adewale of by Ijolo, where who carried the dream on their head beginning. And then there's the likes of Product Dive, which I'm also a facilitator at. That's managed by Tokyo Chokiti of Florida. There's Treford, there's Product Dojo, there is Product Manager Africa. So right now they allow a number of communities where PMs can plug in, aspiring PMs can plug in. In fact, some of them offer like PM courses as well.
Free or paid?
They're paid, they're free
They're
ones.
free courses,
So they're like boot camps that are slightly paid for. They are one-off master classes that are free. All of them have different methods and as to how they approach the whole learning thing, right? But find something that you can plug yourself into. If you're still upcoming, you can start with just joining their community, join the free courses. When you have the resources, then maybe please get the paid.
Yeah, so Nifemi, so being the intersection between marketing, that's the customers, and then development, I understand that being a product manager sometimes comes with managing people's ego, right? I mean, how do you do that? That question, get us in it.
So I think as a PM, the first thing is lose your ego, because it's when there's ego that they trample upon it.
So they can't trample on what doesn't exist.
Exactly. Like lose your ego, it helps.
Okay.
And part of the reasons why I say it helps is there are probably a lot more egos. So if you lose yours, there's one less ego to worry about.
Yeah.
And there's this thing that we say, right? Where you say learn to manage the hippo.
What is
The
it?
hippo is the highest paid person's opinion. Right?
Highest paid person's
If you are a
opinion.
PM in a startup, even in some established organizations, there's usually that one person that you people can talk from morning to night.
Is
So,
the
but
person's
one
opinion that
says,
will still stand.
just say we are doing this. And
This is the feature I want. This is
and
how I
all
want the
the
feature to
story
be.
that you wrote and one thing is the
Write
story.
your customer journey down on the problem. Now my own
The
go work.
person says this, if you say that when you launch the app, one butterfly should be winking in the evening, you put butterfly, like the person's opinion has the tendency to even push customer research out the window. So for those kind of people, we can't engage them with people. More often than not, you need to engage them with facts, with data,
Mhm.
showing that, oh, okay, this is why. Yes, I guess that you want butterfly to be there, but in the past, this is what butterfly has done to people that need butterfly. So it's some basic stuff. For instance, I won't mention the name. One of your bank apps, when you launch it, it's showing video.
Mhm.
I'll see people that say, oh wow, there's
It's
video.
nice, right?
But hey, that video it adds extra MB to the app. So the person that wants to download your app
You
in
now see.
Oshobo that is buying 200 MB per week,
You use
you just
2
took
weeks MB
almost
just to
half of
download.
it because you want a fancy. And
Video.
I'm almost certain that is either an HNI or an Oga that says,
I
why
want that
can't you
video.
have a video? So it's oftentimes is function over preference.
That's true. So that leads me to this question. So having a great customer experience, right? I mean, matters a lot in marketing a product, right? And at the end of the day, the outcome is income for both the product managers and then the business guys. So have you ever been in a situation whereby, say, one of the people, or let's say an orgas in a startup or an organization says, this product, this customer journey, this is how I want it to be, just like you said, remove this thing. This one that you wrote is your own writing. This is what me I want. Have you ever been in such a situation? I mean, just knowing that these people are not in touch with the reality out there. They don't interface with the customers. They don't know what the customers want. But they just do this based on. I mean, now my thing. This is what I want right there. I mean, how do you manage such situations? I mean, what data or facts or whatever do you use to contest such ideas?
So to be honest, sometimes they win.
Hmm.
If I'm more often than not, they win. But two things will probably be helpful. One is when you are telling them that you don't think that's what you should
Yeah.
do. They are not just saying before they ask why. So part of you don't think this is what we should be doing is the reason.
Mm-hmm.
So you are not just going to say, oh, I don't think we should be doing this, and then you are waiting for the person to ask why. Because those kind of people, most times they don't ask you why.
Yeah.
So when you say you don't think so, they heard you, but they will not answer you. But when you say you don't think so, and you give reasons why it shouldn't be. So for instance, um, at some point in the past, when I was making justification for USL in one of the companies I worked at, it was a no-brainer because at the time USSD already had a poster child, and the name of that poster child is star 737. All I needed to do was to dig through GTB's financial records for the year and show that 737 alone
That's
brought this.
Is it valid?
And it was the basis for saying, okay, if this is their customer base, right? And we were able to make this based off of this channel with this customer base. If this is our customer base, we can potentially make this off of just doing this, and this. Apart from the hippos, there is now the tech guys. Because those ones, if there's any engineer that's listening to me, and I said that it's not me that said this, but people are already listening, right? Sometimes engineers, that in Yoruba, only Yoruba, when they say devil, you go to the T junction and you can't pour palm oil. Some of them, that's how they are. You have to be pouring palm oil on your head. It can never run dry.
I can relate.
At some point, the palm oil can be pizza every Friday. The palm oil can be, bro, how you dey do?
Let me do this
The
thing.
palm oil can be,
like
maybe group tickets. Or it could be YouTube match.
So that will take me to this next question. So apart from situations like this, right, managing egos, trying to make the people see why they should do this or not this, right, and of course managing engineers. What other challenges do product managers face?
I think it's a lot. I do think it's a lot because aside from all these fancy things, I think these are even problems that you have in organizations that do that there should be PMs.
Mm-hmm.
Some organizations don't even see the need for it. All they have is engineering, they have the salespeople. It's the salespeople that come and say this is what you want.
Mm-hmm.
It's the engineer that can figure out
How to fix it.
So today, literally, I talk to a lot of PMs, right? Some that I mentor, some who are like friends and stuff. And some will tell you that they get to an organization and notable organizations will be shocked. There's no documentation.
Mhm.
Why are you saying, oh, do you know one?
That's good.
No shots fired. No, but yeah, like you'll be shocked. Even the one I have in mind is not the one you have in mind. Not like I know the one you have in mind. But you'll be surprised. Zero chance. This is where it comes from because a business person or even the CEO comes and say, I think we should do this, right? We can do it now. And somebody will just start is when they're writing the code, they'll be like, okay, let me add this
Let
one.
me add this on to it.
And because there's
Change the entire
a complete
personal
absence between, it's like somebody is speaking Yoruba to you and you are transcribing the Yoruba to English. More often than not, a lot of things will get lost in transit because, well, in fact, let's take it back to when we were in secondary school, English and French. If you translate French to English verbatim, like it's plenty shelling, plenty blunders are there because again, it's taken out of
out
context.
of context.
So
Context
the
matters.
way a business person would have said, "This is what I want," a product person would then be able to break it down further to an engineer to say that, okay, this is what this person said. Then he can break it down to a user story. As a user, I want a mobile app that allows me to book a ride from my house to wherever I go. Whereas the CEO could have been, okay, I wanted to go out today. I could not go out. It's not possible to have something that I just call a cab and the cab come. That's wishful thinking. And if you hand that over to a developer, well, the best, right? As opposed to handing it over to that intermediary who is now supposed to simplify
So far,
into multiple fragments that one big unit that you have put out there.
Okay, so talking about adding new features to products, as a product manager, what routes do you think is best? I know about taking customer feedback, looking at what the market is saying. Looking at the experience, user experience with the current product. Is that the best? Is that the ideal thing? Or in some cases, I've seen product managers say, "See, guys, this is what the competition is doing. We have to incorporate this feature into our own app or into our own solution also." Whatever way, which of these practices do you think is the best or do you think works well?
So different strokes for different folks. There are times when one is better than the other, and there are times when it's sort of a cocktail and everything in there. What the competition is doing is great sometimes, but again, it's when you get there that you know why the competition is doing what they're doing, right? You can't say because somebody is giving out 50 free transfers every month.
Then
You
you want to
that
be
just that's what you want.
free.
Or the best, fam. Again, at the time, I worked in a company where we allowed people to credit their wallets through their cards and we're not charging anything. The fun fact is, even though we're not charging the customers, we were paying for it. Whereas somebody will now wake up tomorrow
They want
and
to
say,
do that too.
why can't we do it? After all, these people are doing it. So I'm saying that when you're also, mimicking the competition, don't just mimic it well, mimic it better. And mimicking it better means understanding to a large extent, what exactly they've done. Try to decipher what they've done, do like a pros and cons of what they've done.
And then
Pick
take
on
us
the
out.
pros and try to improve on the cons.
I think I've seen a title for this conversation for this series. Yeah. So we've really touched a lot in this edition, and I've been enjoying the conversation so far with Nifemi, and I hope you guys have been enjoying it so far also. Let's just take one or two more questions, then they'll try to round it up from there. Yeah. So Nifemi, sometimes people say a product manager is mainly a project manager, which I disagree, right? What is your take? Is a product manager is he merely a project manager? Even though most of them are PM.
So first thing I would say, any project manager out there that is in this school of thought, one sentence, all you have to do and make it easy. Right? I do think that they're very different. More often than not, in your journey as a product manager, you would almost certainly have to project manage.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just one small jump. Well, depends on how it depends on the organization you find yourself and what is listed as your functions. Because again, if you were responsible for managing your, this whole Scrum process alongside the product management work, that Scrum in itself comes out of project management. So Scrum is a subset of Agile, which is the project management methodology. So, but again, daily stand-ups, all those planning, it's just one part of the work, right? And so, my simple answer to that is there are definitely two different disciplines. Feel free to go for anyone that speaks to you, but they are two different.
On a lighter note, Nifemi, Twitter or Facebook?
Who is Facebook? Oh, sorry, who is the author?
Who's the author? Which book are you facing?
I'm a Twitter person. Twitter.
Okay.
Fintech bro on Twitter, please. I don't even know what my Facebook.
Okay. So one last one. Messi or Ronaldo?
Mbappe.
No, you have to pick one. Messi or Ronaldo?
I think I have a Ronaldo bias.
Okay.
I don't like mine, but I've always had a Ronaldo bias.
Okay, so I mean, I would always say this. I think we are kind of lucky to experience or to be a part of this generation that has two goats, two greatest of all time.
Yeah,
right? I mean, two of them can coexist as
he
goats.
good and him good.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by to watch this video. Thank you for staying with us all through our conversations, and I hope you enjoyed the conversation so far. And you've been able to pick one or two learnings. And please subscribe to this channel and share this video with anybody in your network that you think will benefit from. Chicken, just click pim, and you can click the bell button also to get notified when we upload new videos. All right, thank you so much, Nifemi. Thanks once again for doing this with me. Thank you.
Thanks. COVID. Compliance.